when, I know Canada's an ally, but the same tactic of little rocket man in North Korea, and people said Trump's crazy, and he ended up getting meetings.
I have a lot to say about this. First of all, if Biden did this, you would think he was demented. He doesn't remember that Canada is actually a country. Trump has a great sense of humor. And you saw that when you were doing a fantastic job in the White House as press secretary. You were managing that sense of humor. And I think he's telling Trudeau, you didn't fool me coming down here and trying to schmooze me. I'm still going to make a little bit of a joke that puts you in your place. I love that.
As Trump insists on being as contentious as possible with allies before even taking office, Canada is hitting back. Trump has demanded that Canada, our famously amiable neighbor to the north, fix the problems of illegal immigration coming into our country, or else he will hit him with his tariffs, the same tariffs that economists, politicians, analysts, everyone has said and continues to say would be a terrible idea in practice, and not just for the Canadians, for us, for the Americans who voted for Trump. And sure, a small portion of those who voted for Trump understand that his proposed tariffs would result in higher prices for Americans, and they're fine with it because they see it as a small sacrifice if it means curbing illegal immigration. Unfortunately, most Trump voters seem to have been misled into believing that they personally would not be the ones paying the price of Trump's foreign policy.
We're going to be a tariff nation. It's not going to be a cost to you. It's going to be a cost to another country. I heard Kamala the other day, Comrade Kamala. She said, oh, if you do that, he's raising your taxes. No. I'm not raising your taxes. I'm raising China. And all of these countries in Asia and all over the world, including the European Union, by the way, which is one of the most egregious.
You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe it.
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow.
Anyway, Trump first said he would target Mexico with his tariffs, but he later said also Canada. Yes, tariffs for Canada. Trump wants to put a 25% tariff on imported goods from Canada unless they do something about the migrants crossing the US-Canada border. Well, Canada is not having it. First of all, Trump keeps joking about annexing all of Canada as the 51st state, and he has been referring to the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, as the governor of Canada because Trump is a child. Trudeau met with Trump late last month at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump apparently expected Trudeau to concede to his very nebulous demands immediately under pain of tariff. Trudeau said the conversation was excellent, and Trump said the meeting was productive, but that was really it. Trudeau seems to be savvy enough to know to take Trump and his threats seriously, even if they don't make a whole lot of political or economic sense. And Trump seems like an old bully who is used to getting his way, even if his way is dumb. According to CNN, Trump's punishing tariffs, if enacted, could wreak havoc on America's supply chains and industries reliant on goods from the country's closest trading partners. Many U.S. imports from Canada and Mexico are exempted from tariffs because of the USMCA trade agreement among the three nations that Trump pushed for during his first administration. It's not clear how Trump would plan to implement the proposed tariffs without violating the USMCA. The Mexican president has said that if these tariffs are imposed on Mexico, they'll hit us with counter tariffs, which is exactly what many experts were warning against. But in Canada, they're now threatening to cut the lights for 1.5 million Americans. And yes, they can do that. Last year, Ontario provided power to that many homes in Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. And the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, said that the province would consider cutting off energy exports to the U.S. Currently, roughly 60% of U.S. crude oil imports and 85% of electricity imports come from Canada. According to the Daily Beast, Canada has agreed to ramp up border control efforts, but Ford said he thought the tariffs, which are paid by American companies, with the added costs passed on to consumers, were unavoidable. Experts predict gas prices in the Midwest will jump by 30 cents per gallon if the tariffs do indeed take effect. Trump has promised to increase domestic drilling to keep gas prices down, but the U.S. doesn't use the same type of oil that it produces. In other words, Trump is going to do what he wants even if Canada agrees to work with him on the issue of illegal immigration. Trump's numbers on that have always been a bit more general than specific, and it's very difficult to adequately address a general problem, a concept of a problem, if you will. And it's true that the US produces enough oil to be energy independent in theory, but we're still actively participating in the global oil trade to the point that we're still importing oil from often adversarial foreign nations. Oil is such a key factor in geopolitics that it's hard to imagine what the world would be like if the US alone was truly energy independent. Oil is often used as a political bargaining chip, not just between nations, but right here at home. How many times have Americans voted one way or the other because gas prices were too high? How many times have politicians used the issue of higher gas prices as a way to encourage people to support their side? It's not a domestic bargaining chip that politicians are likely to give up anytime soon. That aside, the US produces a different kind of oil than what we typically use. Could we address that issue? Yes, we could. It would take some time, but yes, we could. Are we addressing that issue? No. Will the Trump tariffs go the way of the Smoot-Hawley? Time will tell if and when these tariffs actually do come to pass. One would hope that one would not repeat what has been called a catastrophic tariff policy, because one would hope that a nation can learn from its own history. But here we are. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.